Good afternoon, everybody. Good. Oh, I thought actually it was still good morning here where we're at. I am back here with our third edition of showcasing our Ignite You members, a new feature that we just started and have had great success so far. And today I'm really excited because I'm with a really good friend of mine, someone that I just absolutely adore. It's one of my favorite people on the planet. I've got a chance to spend time. We actually share the same birthday. I'm just a lot older than he is, but we share the same birthday. Folks, please welcome my friend from KLAY Radio, Mr. Bob McCluskey.
Hello. You're still a youngster. I'm quite a bit older than you. Thank you.
We were just laughing because Bob just about maybe 10 minutes ago, maybe not even that, posted his first video in our Ignite You members only Facebook group, and which showed me that, and that was his very first video he's ever done. And I was like, look at Bob, man, he's coming on. So I knew at that point that he could do one of these interviews because he just posted in our group. I was like, so I called him. I said, hey, Bob, do you want to do the interview right now? And fortunately, he's available. So here's what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you a few questions. We're going to start with some things on the personal side. I've had the privilege of being able to go to have dinner with you and learn more about you from your younger years, the stuff you've been able to do, which was, to me, I was blown away. So I'm going to ask you a few of those questions so other people can get to know you a little bit like I do. And then we're going to talk about what you do at KLAY Radio and how you're helping small businesses around the South Sound get more business and do some cool things. And then we'll wrap it up. We'll talk just briefly about your networking and Ignite You networking. How's that sound, Bob?
Perfect.
Awesome. So let's do this first. You've done some cool things. I remember when we went to dinner, you talked about some things you did in Vegas. So actually, did you live in LA first and then move to Vegas?
I lived in Los Angeles and in San Diego County, and then we moved to Las Vegas and lived in Henderson, which is just adjacent to Las Vegas. It's the bedroom community of Las Vegas. Yes.
And so when you got to Vegas, you had told me something about all the trees or all the palm trees or something like at the MGM that you were responsible for putting all those in.
Well, I did interior plants for Steve Wynn for the hotels that he had there. And so for one of the hotels, we had brought millions of dollars of cocoa pomosas in. In fact, let me take that back. It was Washington petunias, but there were certain kinds of palm trees, and we brought in millions of dollars worth from San Diego, and he set them all up, and he was going to have them put in the hotel, and he looked at them and said, I don't like these. Let's go get $1 million worth of other palm trees. So we threw those all out in the desert and brought in 67 truckloads of other palm trees. Kind of interesting guy.
And so you've also got to spend time with Steve Wynn at his own personal property, right?
I did. Yeah, Steve Wynn and his wife. Very nice people. Amazing. Yeah, he lives in the Spanish Glen. Very interesting when you see people like that they have their own maid for their son, their own maid for their daughter, a lifeguard at the pool 24/7, somebody in the kitchen 24/7. It's a whole different lifestyle when it was somebody with that magnitude of wealth.
Wow, that's awesome. And then you were also telling me, I remember that when you were in, I think it was Southern California, you're a pilot, right?
Yes.
You actually fly small aircraft. And I can't remember what the job or the business you were doing, but you added something to that. And so you were already in the air, I think, and that what you added to it was dropping people's ashes out of a plane that wanted to have their ashes spread, right? And
cremain spreading through aerial cremain spreading, yes. Because in California, unlike Washington State, there's a certain way you can spread cremains. It has to be out over the ocean. It has to be 2,000 feet up, 2,000 feet out. So I would spread cremains for families that wanted that service done.
And so what was but that wasn't the original. That's not why you were in the air, was it? You were doing something else and then added that business to it, wasn't it?
I did a number of things. I was a spotter for fishing fleets. So I'd spot tuna catches out on the other side of Catalina Island. I was a newspaper delivery boy, so I delivered newspapers to out-of-the-way airports in the Northwest and Southwest. And I also brought commercial pilots back and forth from Los Angeles International Airport that lived in San Diego. So I did a number of kind of fun things to stay in the air.
Do you still fly today?
I do. I was originally an Air Force pilot and an F-4. And then when I got out, I thought I'd just fly privately for a while. So I do still fly, but I do not have my own airplane anymore.
I just learned something new. I never knew you were in the Air Force, Bob McCluskey.
Yeah.
Oh, you flew the F-4. What years? How long were you in the Air Force?
I was in the Air Force 4 out of my 6 years. I flew the F-4E, which was strategic support. And most of us second lieutenants, first lieutenants, and captains were in there because we're going to go to Vietnam, and then Vietnam let out, and all of us pilots that had just been trained had no place to go. So they allowed us to either get out early or be ground support, sit behind a desk, which I had no interest in doing.
Wow.
So I got out after 4 years.
I had no idea you were an Air Force pilot. Every time you and I get together and talk like this, you drop some other...
It's another life, Karen. It's another life.
Yeah, I love it. So how did you end up coming up into the Pacific Northwest to live? And when you came up here, it wasn't with the radio station, was it?
Not at all. I owned a collection agency called Very Rate Collection, and we had an office in San Diego, Las Vegas, and Tacoma. And when I came up to Tacoma to check on that agency, Clay Huntington, who owned KLAY Radio, asked me to collect a bad check. And when I came, he asked me if I wanted to work in radio, and I said, well, okay. So without any second thought, I sold my agency, and this is my 26th year here with no regrets at all. I love it.
Wow. And so that was almost like a fluke, because you came up for totally different reasons and ended up switching careers completely.
I had no intention to be in radio, no intention ever, never thought of it.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about radio, because this is amazing. So what is it that you do at KLAY Radio?
My position, I'm general manager, so that means I do the floors, the bathroom, the windows. In addition to that, though, Karen, my job is to make sure that all of our 44, 45 weekly programs that we produce here at KLAY are the very best they can be. So my job is to make sure the hosts are in good shape, that the program's going smoothly, that the sponsors are in line and the sponsors are getting on like they should, and basically make sure that their experience is the very best that it could possibly be.
So how many shows do you have on right now at KLAY?
I have 44 live programs that we produce every week, which very few people know about. They go Monday through Saturday, and then we have a large Christian lineup on Sunday of Christian programming. So there's 44 local people that come in every week and do a program that serves not only the community, but themselves, because it has to serve both the host and the community to work.
Well, there's 44 different hosts that are coming into your studio every week to do a show.
Correct. There's somebody here right now doing one. So
what's your longest running show that you have on the
air? Deborah just passed away, 22 years she was with us. Wow. Tom Landis passed away at 18 years. Most of the show that's on now has been on 14, so a lot of them have been on over a decade and a half. Some of them are new, but many of them have been on forever and ever. And nobody's under contract, so KLAY is a very unusual station. I've got 109 sponsors, 44 programs, and nobody's under any obligation to come back tomorrow if it wasn't working for them.
So I know a little bit of how it works. So tell everyone else, because you're always looking for people who want to have their own radio show. But
correct.
Give folks an idea why people would want their own radio show. What does it do for them, and how does it work with KLAY?
All right, that's a good question. I believe in the radio programs. When I talk with people, I start to get excited because I've seen through so many years that it's absolutely a platform to build their business on in a number of ways. And when I sit down and talk with people from Ignite You that have an interest in it, by the time we leave, Karen, they've had so many different ideas of how they can build their business using the radio as a platform to do that, whether it's being an authority in their industry to other constituents in the industry, to being an authority to prospective customers that they have not even met yet, because we know success breeds success. The gentleman we're going to have come up and talk next Friday believes that very well. Success breeds success. we know that. So when somebody does a radio program, they're perceived as an automatic authority in the industry and to prospective customers. And what's perceived is believed. And people that I handpick to do programs are authorities in their subject. So I want them to bring to the table their subject matter. They don't need to be radio people. They need to be authorities in their subject. We can put together the radio part and make them shine.
That was my question about what if they have zero radio experience? Does that make any difference at all?
Sometimes we hope they don't, so we don't have to break old tricks and old habits. So when we want them to come with their subject matter, and we'll sit down and we'll indoctrinate them with radio. We'll set up everything. They've got a full-time board operator, so they really don't have to know much about radio. Initially, I tell them it's like riding a bike. After about 3 or 4 weeks, you're an expert at it. You don't need anybody to help you, and you're well on your way.
Nice. So let's give someone a real life live example. So you and I actually talked not too long ago, because Sherry and I, another one of our businesses, we own a travel agency. And
yes.
So we've talked about having a travel radio show. And one of the things you were talking about was that it's not only broadcast just via the radio, it's also broadcast via the internet. So your reach is farther than just this local area. So in that case, let's say if other people are just like us and they have whatever type of business, how much does it cost? How do they go about it? How do sponsorships work? How do they get on the radio so it's a good fit for them and a good fit for you?
Good question. With the advent of the computer and Google and things of that nature, unless you have a brick and mortar business that draws from a certain radius, like a 5-mile radius, these radio programs are listened to worldwide, and they're listened to certainly throughout the country, and that's very finite, Karen. So we can see on our screen how many people are listening, what state or what country they're in, and how long they're on. So it's very finite, something we can see. So it's just blowing apart the radio industry. So now somebody can come on with essential oils or with a travel agency like yours and reach people everywhere. And how do they find this little station up in the Northwest that nobody knows about? They go to Google and say, I want to learn about travel. Your show comes right up to the top. They click it on. They don't have to be, geographically, they're not limited to where they have to be. They can contact you from Maine or Cincinnati or Florida and book travel with you. Their weekly programs, I'm letting them go for $175 a week. It's very inexpensive. And with that said, all of my hosts that want to have sponsors that pay for the entire program. So my hosts never, ever, ever, never pay for a dime of their program. From the first program, well, hopefully they're still on, so it's not the last, but from the first program on, they have hosts that sponsor the programs. The hosts are their best friends because they get an opportunity to promote their local business that they can't get anywhere else in this community. And the hosts have no contracts, the sponsors have no contracts, and they stay together for years and years and years. So we know it's working for them. And our job is to make sure that that host develops their business in every way that we can help them develop it.
So let me go back to that. So you said it's $175 a week to have your own radio show, but you don't, the host doesn't actually pay for that. You have sponsors already lined up that are paying for it?
If the host chooses to have sponsors, that we work together, so they get the sponsor lead, and then we put the sponsorship together. We write the commercial, we get it approved, we get it produced, we get it scheduled, we get it on the air, we get them billed. And listen to this, Karen. After we do this, we run spots for them every day of the week at no cost, plus commercials in their program. We waive the production cost, and 100% of their sponsorship money goes in support of the program. We don't keep a dime for anything, because we want at KLAY on our shelves, if you will, on our store, we sell programs. We want you to have a program on the air that's perfect, and we don't want you to be concerned with the cost of it. We want you to be concerned with the content of it.
Wow. And so do you work with the host? Is it the host's responsibility to find a sponsor, or do you work together, or how does that?
I can't possibly find sponsors for 44 programs. I don't know that many people, but every host has a circle of people that they influence, whether it be getting their hair done like you do, or getting sunglasses, wherever they do, they talk with them about being mentioned on their program. If that person is interested, then they contact me and I do the rest of the work. So they get my foot in the door, I contact them, I get them on the air, I do everything that needs to be done, and all the money goes in support of the program. So it's unheard of in radio. And when I talk to other radio stations, they basically don't believe me till they talk to their host. It works very, very well.
That's amazing. So let me, I want to clarify. So let's say if I did a travel show and I went out and I found 4 sponsors, one that sponsored a show each week. And so they would pay $175. Is that what you're saying?
It can be done either way, but typically the sponsors, we leave it at $50 a piece and you get 4 sponsors. So now I say you've got gas money. The reason we do that, Karen, is at the end of the month, when they're writing a check for $200 for commercials every day of the week, they stay forever. That's petty cash, relatively speaking. So if we charge them a lot of money at the end of the month, they go, well, what could we do with this $2,000?
Right.
$50 a week, they get spots every week. I make sure it works for them. They don't go anywhere.
Wow. So I don't know what wasn't gelling with me before, but what you were just saying actually just started to make more sense for me. So I'm glad we're here on the air so everyone else can hear it. We're going to make sure it gets shared all over, and we'll download this. We'll put it on LinkedIn. We'll share it all over Facebook, and we'll share it into our members only group. Let's switch gears here.
And let me add one thing before we go, because I think it's important. The viewers are welcome because we're an open book here and there's no secrets anywhere. I encourage them to go to our website, click on any one of my programs, any one of my advertisers, call them, say, what the heck is Bob saying? Is this true? And I have confidence that everybody on that site will support what they're doing and encourage them to participate.
I love it. I love it. Sounds like an awesome deal. We just had someone who chimed in, Renee Karcheesian, and said, hey guys, this sounds awesome. And obviously it does. Let me switch gears here. I want to talk to you about networking, because that's actually how you and I met.
Yes.
It was via networking, and it was via Ignite You. And let me pop up on the screen here just so people know what I'm saying with Ignite You. So number one, how long have you been a member of Ignite You? I can't remember when you joined, Bob.
2 years.
Been 2 years now.
We've had 2 birthdays together at the same time, so that's how we keep track of it.
We have 2 great birthdays together on January 8th. If anybody else has a birthday January 8th, you contact Bob and I, because we do a thing. We go have lunch with January 8th birthday people. We actually have another lady in our group, and she's got the same birthday. So this last year we went and had lunch with the 3 of us.
Yes, we did.
So I know that you come to Ignite You like all the time. Like it's pretty rare for you not to be there.
Correct.
And so, I'm pretty certain what you're looking for when you're out there looking and making connections, like you were saying earlier, is you sell radio programs. And so what you're looking for are new radio hosts, new programming for your station. And I was being interviewed on your station yesterday, and I started counting how many people from Ignite You are actually on your station now. And I think there's got to be, I was saying 3, but then I went to 4, and is there 4 or 5 or
about 12?
There's 12?
Yeah.
Right now, or there has been 12?
No, right now. If we count our morning billboards and everything we're doing in radio programs, we just started another one on Saturday. So yeah, they've been very, very responsive, and it's been awesome.
I thought that just blew me away. That's exciting. So
it is.
So tell me, tell the viewers then about your experience. The last 2 years you've been coming to Ignite You. What was the reason? What made you want to join Ignite You? And more than that, what keeps you coming back week after week after week? You're there a lot of times Tuesdays and Fridays, making connections. What's the reason why you're doing it? Obviously, you're getting the results. We just talked about that, but what's the deal with that networking, Bob?
It's real simple. In the last 26 years, I've been literally dragged to every marketing meeting there has been and is, and I leave when they look the other way, and I don't come back for a number of reasons. It's nothing against that meeting, but it's not what I'm looking for. And then I was asked to come to Ignite You a couple of years ago, and for 2 months I said, no, I don't want anything to do with this stuff because of my past experience. So I come to Ignite You the first time, and like everybody else does when they get up and be introduced, I had never seen anything like it. And my hats are off to you and Sherry, because you put together a program that that absolutely works. It's unquestionable, and it's proven every single day when we do our stand-ups, our shout-outs. So I tell people when they come, and I was told that it takes a few weeks for people to get to know you, but if you show up consistently, they get to know you. And what's good about Ignite You, and what I appreciate, unlike some of the other organizations, is that when I show up, they're not so concerned about them telling me what they do. They want to know what I have to offer to them. So that's a different mindset, where I can go there and they actually want to know what I have to offer. At the same time, I see what they have to offer. Not only has it been very productive for KLAY, but I will share with you that I have spent well over $100,000 with people there because of my homes and things. I've had service with electricity, with plumbing, with everything you can think of. I've had people come in, and I know these people because I work with them and see them every week. So when I have them come in and do my service, my videos, whatever it is, and the list goes on, much more than I get back, I have confidence in them. I know what they do, and they're reliable people. So it helps me both ways, not only from a retail income perspective, but there's so many different varieties of jobs and services there. That's where I get my services from.
Wow, that is amazing. So you've received the benefits of having people who are coming doing shows at your station. And on the flip side of that, what you've done is you've established those relationships. So when you're looking for people to hire to do business with you, some work on your home or whatever else, Ignite You is your go-to place. And did you say you put $100,000 into our network of
yes,
business owners? Wow.
Some of that's big, like the plumbing was $33,000. So we bought a home and everything stripped out, and so all of that was in one time. I bought insurance there. I spent $8,000 with Gabe for my funeral coverage.
Wow.
I'm going to call somebody today to come in and do a major cleaning. My wife's insurance last week we had handled. So it goes on and on. Yeah.
So here's and that just made me think about something really important, because people are always asking me about the value of showing up, and sometimes people will lose interest. And so you're there week in, week out, and you put $100K back into the group. And so here's what I would share with our members, anyone else who is going to become members, is that's one of the biggest reasons you want to show up, because there's people like Bob who I didn't know you had put that much money back into the network. But if you're not at a meeting where Bob is going to meet you, there's no way the Bob or anyone else can do business with you. No. So that just, man, you've dropped a couple bombs on me here today, Bob, as usual, like you always do.
Well, it adds up fast for what we've been doing in the past, but even now with the videos we've been doing and different things, I'm still putting money into it. I'm still, like I said today, I'm going to make a call to get a major cleaning. That's going to be $200, $300, $400. So, and I love it because I know who to call, and I can rely on the people that come out. I don't even have to be there because I know who they are.
So, so last thing, Bob. So there's probably a business owner or two in the greater Pierce County area that's going to be watching this interview that's not a member yet. What kind of advice would you give to them about checking Ignite You out, about joining Ignite You, and regardless of what their business is, what kind of advice would you give them?
The same advice I give to the people that I've invited and have come in. Hey, Bruce, can you shut the door, please?
Which door?
Yes, thank you. Very busy here in the office, so I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My advice is that you come and show up. It's the first meeting's free. You can see what's going on. I've invited a number of people. Everyone that's come, and you know this, everyone that's come has joined, and everyone that has joined has brought other people. So that speaks for itself. So I would suggest, if you have a retail business or service, you owe it to yourself to show up. If you don't like it, that's fair. But if you don't show up, you're not going to have any idea if you're going to like it. If you do show up, Karen, if these people do, they don't leave. So it speaks for itself.
I love it. So right now, Bob, I have your website up, KLAY1180.com. Is there a phone number I can put up there for you for people to see?
Sure. 253-584-1480.
1480. Let me pop that up on the screen. 253-584-1480. Is that it, Bob?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are looking for anything to do with radio in our local area, obviously what Bob's talking about is amazing. And so he's been doing this for 26 years. He's your go-to guy. At least give him a call, just like, like Bob was saying, to come to Ignite You and check it out. If you don't go talk to him, if you don't pick up the phone and talk to him, you won't know exactly what this radio thing entails for you and how it can benefit you. So I encourage you to dial 253-584-1480. Ask for Bob McCluskey. Or if you ever want to come check out one of our events, call Bob too and ask Bob if you can just come with him. I'm sure he'd love to have you sitting with him at his table so he can get to know you. I'm sure he'll introduce you to a number of people around our room because he takes care of people. So, Bob, thank you for joining me on such short notice. I can't wait to get this out so people can see this. And, dude, I just love the crap out of you. You're one of my favorite people ever.
Well, you and Sherry are amazing. We appreciate what you're doing for our retail industry, our population here. You're making a difference, and we appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Everyone, call Bob McCluskey, KLAY 1180.com radio. Bob, we'll see you tomorrow at Ignite You, 7:30 to 9. We have our special guest speaker tomorrow. I'm picking him up at the airport at 11 o'clock tonight. So we'll be there in the morning. It's going to be a big crowd. Get there early. Great breakfast buffet. Hopefully we'll see a bunch of you guys there. Have a great day, everybody.
Goodbye.